I know that you're traveling. You mentioned that you might want to hop up first.
Yeah, if that's all right, I will go quick and then I'll listen as I continue to drive. So good things happening.
Sounds good. Go ahead.
Yeah, good things happening for the community team. Couple notable transitions that I am really excited about. Both Farmer Dan and JWW are transitioning into the community team, and most of their responsibilities will be staying essentially as they are now. But we're trying to make a lot of these pieces kind of fit together. I'm excited for the two of them, and then
now recording.
All of my openings, I've got folks kind of that I'm looking at or talking to about all of them. So with JWW and Farmer Dan, I've got another individual that I'm talking to, and I'm hoping to, in the pretty near future, have that like trifecta set up to handle things like, events, merch, NFTs, all those pieces and how they fit together. So working on that right now, and also talking to a couple folks about the two metaverse positions. One of which is Bean Intern. He may be part of the equation a little bit later on. He's working out some other stuff with job things, but have folks talking to that for both of those roles as well, and just started talking to someone for a social media lead position. So we've got kind of a smattering of folks on social media, obviously, but looking for a specific person that can dedicate time and effort. And I think I may have found the one. So getting close on a lot of that stuff. And other than that, working on podcast stuff with our podcast crew and getting ready to hopefully record the first, couple episodes next Friday. And working on other small projects, trying to get some more details around certain events and giveaways. And really, other than that, just getting stuff kind of brushed up in the Notion and polished and getting all that, the kind of paperwork and administrative side squared away. That's what I got.
Okay, great. I appreciate it. That's some exciting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, Max, do you want to hop up? I know you like to go early in these things.
Yeah, I can jump in with BD updates. So on the BD side, we have a few new partnerships that are in the pipeline. One is with Harvest Finance. We started a conversation with them today. They're kind of like a yield aggregator, and there might be a place for us to start a bean vault with them. So Syncubate has been taking the lead there. So thank you, Syncubate. He's had some exciting ideas for what we can do with them. The first call happened with them today, and it seems pretty optimistic. The next thing is Bunker Finance. They're the ones who might allow for borrowing against silo deposits. So that first call was last week, and so we're now just sussing things out with them. So that's moving forward. Another thing is we got a inbound integration request from a founder who's working on an NFT sales plugin for Discord. And the whole idea is that a seller would be able to set the sale, like denominating sale price in Bean in exchange for a discount on the transaction price or the transaction cost. So that's really exciting. They're going to integrate Bean, give us some more utility. Another thing is Tally, which is the Tally wallet. We've been working on that for a while. Silo Chat has been working on the wallet connector for Bean, and so that should be ready in the next week or so. And then from there we can integrate Tally. One of the last things is Fiat DAO, and they're the ones who will allow for borrowing against pods. And I think many of you came to the Twitter space that we had with them this week. And so that had a solid turnout. We had like 30, 35 people there. So that was super cool. And I looped in their team with Publius, and it seems like we might be able to get something going with them. So that's super cool. Yeah, that's basically all that I have.
Okay, great. Thanks, Max.
Hey, Dumpling, sorry to jump in. I had one more thing that I'd forgotten about a minute ago.
Yeah, sure.
So looking out at the calendar, so obviously a lot of folks, a lot of talk about, and a lot of folks ended up going to ETH Denver here a couple weeks back now, looking at the calendar for Ethereum events. Should we be looking at, so like ETH New York is coming up later in June. I want to say, I think it's the 24th to the 26th. I mean, is that something that you think we should be, or this group thinks we should be looking to have a presence at? I mean, there are so many events on the calendar that, I don't really know what ones to focus on or not to focus on. So just wanted to get that out into the community.
Definitely. I feel like we were scrambling a little bit for ETH Denver, and it'd be nice to have that. Also, I know that in July, there's something in Paris.
Yes, there is.
Yeah. So
if you want me to go to Paris, I would. I'm just saying.
I think we'll send the man to Paris. I mean, I think we should get a presence to as many of these things as we can.
I think
that would be my take.
I think on that note, Rex, that's awesome because like a lot of the stuff that happened on the ETH Denver side, there was a lot of, I mean, if we want to go this route, and this is kind of TB and what he's thinking with marketing and advertising, but there were definitely a lot of opportunities to promote randomly throughout. I didn't see it in person, but on the virtual side, obviously Maxo could talk about the in-person side. But that's a great idea. I think just in general, a calendar of events for non-Beanstalk stuff. And the other thing to really think about there too is, I'm really glad you're bringing it up because we tried to get Publius in to speak at ETH Denver, but I think it filled up a little quickly. So one other thing to think about now is starting to even push that out. So it's a great idea to surface that. And I think just a calendar of events like that are kind of more crypto, DeFi, et cetera, focused, maybe having a conversation with marketing and stuff like that, so we can kind of put this kind of broader calendar together makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I was thinking about New York specifically because we've got some time. I'm looking at the date as we speak, and it is June 24th to the 26th. So we can put our heads together and see what we can do. I'm sure we've still got an opportunity to plan a presence. When it comes to other events, I am certainly willing to talk about anything, and I do like the idea of a calendar as well, so we can kind of pick and choose a little bit. That's a great additional thought, J-Dubs. Okay, that's a lot of good feedback. I will take some notes and kind of think about it and see if I can get more details on ETH New York and look at some of these other big events on their calendar to see if it might be worth us, because they're they've got everything from Paris to Berlin to Miami to Rio, and there are a couple events a month, so we'd want to be selective. But yeah, I'll keep looking and thinking and reading, and we'll see if we can get a calendar together.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a great idea and the exact sort of thing we should be talking about.
Sure, and then crossing that with definitely wouldn't want to step on TB, serotonin,
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, cross all that together. I think that'd be great.
Completely agreed.
Alrighty. So next, D's Beans, do you want to give us a design department update?
Oh, hello. All right.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Some mic stuff. Yeah. Absolutely. Hey, everybody. I guess just going off the energy of Rex and some of the other folks, we're really excited about the podcast. So, kind of our dynamic duo, Beantoven and Bella Beantalk, really have been kind of taking the leadership on the podcast, and that's really why we wanted to hire them on. Actually, I guess Beantoven even recommended Bella. They know each other and they've worked with each other a long time, and Bella has a lot of experience in podcasts and just audio engineering in general. And so we're really excited to have them helping out with that and just trying to pump out more content for Beanstalk, really. So as far as audio, hopefully they'll also be able to just help us with all of the different video content that we're going to be making. As we're rebranding, as we're updating the website, the hope is we'll have some things that go along with it when we drop, I guess, end of March. So all these things just kind of converging at once and getting that together. The style guide for the new brand. So it's pretty much done. We're really excited about that. Only things missing is just a few of the high-level statements, but think we're ironing that out with copy tomorrow. And gonna be, I can upload it to the Notion right now in the design department. Not sure where the best place to put it in, or I can just put the PDF doc in the Barnyard chat right now. But yeah, it's really excited about it because it's kind of like our first doc on brand for Beanstalk's new brand. And so really it should be a living doc similar to the white paper, where this is kind of like the place, if we're doing any visual updates, anything, this is where we put all the stuff into it. And so, and hopefully the goal is to transition this doc onto the website somewhere where we have like an about or a branding section. So, yeah, so that's really exciting. And then as far as the website itself and the redesign for that, Jelly, who's not here right now, really excited for them. We got them full time now. They actually just put in their 2 weeks. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this to the whole DAO. Maybe I should let them. But they actually just put in their 2 weeks today, and the current job, and so they're going to be transitioning full time to Beanstalk. And yeah, we're just going to push really hard all of March to get our new website up and running. So, but as far as major updates, yeah, those would probably be the three main things.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm just jotting that down here in the notes. And if you want to, post the style guide, I'm sure we'd all love to see it. Maybe a PDF. You mentioned there's a couple of changes to make to it, but maybe a link to the Notion where it's housed, or a PDF would be cool.
Yeah, where's the best place? I can do it right now.
Maybe Barnyard chat. Okay, let's see. Do we have a Quasi-Mat? He mentioned that this might be kind of a bad time for him, but he's going to try to. Oh yeah, I'm gonna read some of his updates that he posted in here. But I told him, this is kind of a good time for sort of a quorum of us. We've tried other times before; it hasn't been great. So he's going to try to change his obligations so that he can come to these meetings. He's the lead of the copy department. Not maybe we'll explore trying to change the time by 15 minutes or half an hour or something to see if we can accommodate him, because it'd be great to have him. So I'll send out some sort of survey or something for a time if he can't change the time. But I mean, I don't know a more efficient way than going through everyone one by one. So I'll try to figure that out as far as timing. But he has number one, main push right now is Git book documentation. Ooh, yay, okay. Number two, working on internal processes to make it easy for other departments to request copy. I've been in touch with him a little bit about this, so we're working on that. And number three, establishing a cadence for articles about issues in DeFi. The idea is that we write about topics that appeal to crypto Twitter more broadly, but also introduce them to Beanstalk. Yeah, he'll try to make it to the next one, but we'll see what we can do about scheduling to get him in here. All right, so on the next, I'll do. I might have actually a Silo Chad. Do you want to do development, like dev updates?
Yeah, for sure. So this past week, front end in particular, we did things. We launched the Uniswap module of Tina, who's a community member, which is going to be awesome. Also reduce the website load time by a second. And we've got a plan for reducing this further that we'll be working on over the next 3 or 4 days. Looking forward over the next week or so. So as we speak, implementing some changes to the Silo page, reintroduce the APYs and show like the total amount of beans that have been minted to the Silo over the last 30 days. We'll also be moving to a slightly different page structure that shows the different silos as instead of tabs in the as they're shown now. So hopefully this user interface should be clearer, and will also line up better with what the design team is working on. Over the next week, we're also going to an actual wallet adapter for the site. So what this basically means is any wallet will be able to integrate with the site. So not just MetaMask, you can use Tally, you can use any wallet connect, Rainbow, all those things. So expect that. I'm hoping by mid next week. So stay tuned. And then I think those are the big things for right now. Some other things to shout out. I don't think it's here, as Jack and Austin have been working on YouTube channels. So that is up currently, and I believe as of today, all videos have been edited, rolled out, and like properly annotated. So just like sort of sounding the alarm to go share those, and I guess for marketing as well to kind of like come up with a plan for how we can go roll those out. But yeah, just super excited to have those. Great job. So give them a shout out if you see them. That's all I've got. I'll also happy to answer any questions if people have questions.
Great. No, I don't think. I'm sure people might have questions, and feel free to ask them if you do. So on the operations side, we've had a lot of we have a lot of new hires. We've been onboarding a lot of people from the various departments. I've also had a couple of interviews with people to come on board in operations, which have been kind of exciting. So I have follow-up interviews next week with them. We've checking real quick. We also we've been reworking the Notion. So Jaker has really been taking a leading role in reworking the Notion. I think you may have noticed that the project cards have gotten greatly simplified. And there's been quite a few other changes as far as the organization of the Notion to kind of make it visually a little easier on the eyes. As when you go to it, things are tucked away into documentation a little bit more. If you have any trouble finding anything, nothing has really disappeared or been removed, so just let me know. We're working on getting all the departments filling out their OKRs and their descriptions of their departments. We're setting up weekly meetings, so I have meetings with a lot of you tomorrow, and just to kind of go through and organize timelines on projects and get sort of a pulse on how things are going in the department and what your needs are. So that's been the big focus in the last week. There's also been something that has, I'm going to kind of take a note of, and I think in the next month we should have a bigger discussion about, which is we want to structure, from an organizational perspective, how we want to structure Beanstalk Farms. So that's something I'm going to have discussions with Publius about, but so we'll probably have some more chats about that as we approach Q2. We're also going to have be talking about budgeting and the Q2 budget. So that's in the works also. As we come into March, as we get towards the end of March, we should have some documents on that and some discussion. So then we also have some things that are technically events that I've been working on. So will soon fall in Rex's lap, but I've been working on, as you guys know, the poker tournaments on Saturday. Probably can pass this to JWW, who's been taking the leading role with that. And I think he could talk about that. And then there's a couple other things that JWW you want to talk about, including Luna, serotonin, and so I'll pass it to you you can some updates.
For sure. Yeah, I'll leave some of that to TV. But so in terms of the poker tournament, so we made some really good progress in getting what I think is kind of quick last minute content out. So many thanks to Mod and the copyright team and Publius, and frankly everyone who's kind of had their eyes on something. I think Deez, you took a peek at stuff too and sent some feedback and email as well. Again, just kind of an awesome cross-departmental effort, and it's just been great to see everyone be as fast as they have to respond and make it kind of as strong as possible from like from a content and from a visual perspective in order to promote it. So to date, we are still looking for signups. We've got, I think, 4 tables now full. And we can do several, frankly, a couple dozen more. So if you guys haven't signed up, be sure to do it yourselves and or promote it. We have, again, for material, if you guys are looking for anything as you're promoting it, we've got a video that TB put together using music from Beethoven, which is awesome. I think some of you guys have seen it. But we're also working on partnership in the prize pool right now. So Dumping and myself had a conversation with Income today. They're going to be bringing over an NFT, if not more, but it sounds like just one that we'll be giving away. And there's going to be a kind of a staggered prize pool throughout the tournament. And the prize pool has been already locked in terms of the pods. So many thanks to Mr. Manifold and everyone else who kind of helped us get that plot purchased for the prize pool. Just a really great project. I think probably one of the most exciting ones to be on at the DAO so far for me, because it's just been so cross-departmental. And we're going to be running a test tournament tonight for 30 Bean buy-in. If you guys want to play, we're going to start that at 7:30. Just shoot me a DM after this. It's just going to be a way for us to test out some of the bugs, but in order to keep it competitive, we'll put a little bit of Bean on the table. Yeah, so then after that, we'll regroup. I think we've got a lot of learnings from this, which is going to be great going forward from like an events perspective, and a lot of things that we can think about that will be great to better plan and better design. But in general, just good things overall. So many thanks again to everyone that's been involved. I'll quickly chat on the Luna part of it. So we're actually having conversations in the marketing team about how to proceed with Luna. Just so you guys know, we made some revisions to the SA, to the service agreement that they sent to us. They wanted like an address. We had them cut that out. They had like an engagement period. We're having them augment that. So where we are with Luna right now is getting the next response from them. And once we get that response, we'll move forward with a snapshot and stuff as needed. But we're going to regroup internally on the marketing and then talk tomorrow during the marketing sync in the morning about updates on that. And then we'll give a broader update. Two other quick things. So three things. Dumpling already chatted about Notion, but then in terms of payroll, we're pretty much there with a great process for things to come in. And so we're getting the payments out on the 1st and the 15th. So thanks with everyone as you've been patient getting, as we've been getting that up to date. It's a little bit more cumbersome than we thought it would be, given the pod versus bean allocation. But that should be, I think that's pretty smooth sailing now. And then a smaller piece is we were working on this video update that again was kind of a really great cross-departmental piece that kind of stemmed off from the original like 0 to Beanstalk thinking that turned into much more of a welcome to Beanstalk video. So just to give an update on that, we have the audio, which has been cleaned, and there's been some background music to it, which has been great from Beethoven. He added it. Copyright, many thanks to Publius and Quasimat for their work on that. And Dees for jumping in throughout the whole thing, giving your thoughts as well. I mean, again, just really great DAO-wide. Where we are with that is waiting for Bean Bunny to bring in the last version of the content. Deez, I don't know if you've heard from Bean just in the past 24 hours, but the last I heard from him is that he's trying to finish that up in the next couple of days. But once we get that, done, ideally, we kind of have what appears to be, I think, a pretty good whiteboard video that we can start to circulate and decide what we want to do with. So I think that's largely it. And like I said, I'll leave the serotonin update to TB.
Sure. That video, from what I've seen, is great, and I really like the music. That I think it's going to be really pretty snappy. Do we have plans for it? Like what we might end up using it for?
Yeah. So well, initially it was just the idea of like, frankly, kind of community-led content, I think. But then, as it was finessed, if I'm being honest, I think the final script and that was kind of polished. Like if the design and the audio looks strong enough, I think the copy is very strong. So it could potentially rest on the landing page on the site. I think it'll we can leave that up to. I mean, it's not going to have the update Ds obviously per the style guide that you just shared with us, but I do think it's fairly on brand with where the protocol is right now. So it could rest on the landing page. It could be something that we all socialize via Twitter. I think it'll kind of depend on what this final output looks like, Dumpling, and then from there we can figure out how to disseminate.
Yeah, well, let's see what it looks like, and we can decide what to use it with. But it is quite impressive. I thought once Beethoven had read it and the music was added, I think it's quite impressive. So thanks for that. Okay, we have Mr. Manifold, do you want to give Beansprout updates?
Sure. Hey guys. So I'll start with Jim. Hopefully some of you guys saw his message in the general chat. Just kind of been in discussions with him for the past few weeks. He's working on building something pretty neat. It's effectively like a tool or a site to help, normies and just like really anyone understand certain crypto protocols and tokenomics in like a really easy, quick fashion. And so kind of, introduced him to Beanstalk. He really is a fan of the protocol, and we think it's a perfect candidate to kind of, for him to kind of start his site with. And the goal here is going to be, kind of create this like really interactive diagram flow chart that, visually, describes how Beanstalk and Beanstalk's tokenomics work. And the goal being, someone can understand, even a non-crypto native person can understand the protocol in just a few minutes or less. And they don't have to really go read the white paper and get all confused. So kind of excited about that. But he wants to gather community feedback. So if that's something you're interested in doing, just go ahead and like his post, and he's going to just start having calls with people to kind of get a better picture. So that's cool. Regarding Afra, we've expedited the vaults, the Bean vaults. So any day now, expecting Andrew and team to launch the Bean vaults. So you'll be able to deposit Bean single side, Bean ETH LP, or Bean 3-curve LP into the Afra vaults and start farming for Afra emissions. Admittedly, we are moving pretty quick here, so haven't clearly put out yet what exact strategies Afra plans to run with the vaults, but have a series of calls next week to hopefully gain like clarity on those things and how the vault and the redemptions will work. And so we'll look to put out a bigger memo there that's clear for the community, effectively on like Afra V1, and then from there we'll move to the D3 pool, which I think most people are excited about. Something that Max didn't mention, but I think is also really exciting, is we spoke with Bunker Finance. We kind of met them at we met the founder Yash at ETH Denver, but hopefully in like a month and a half, we'll be able to support bean deposits as collateral types. So be able to borrow beans against your LP, which I think is really cool. So I think those are the three main updates from me today.
Yep. I'll just go because Dumpling is having some issue. Can you all hear me?
Yeah,
Yep,
we
good
can
to go.
hear you. We can hear you, TV.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, obviously a lot happening within the community in terms of events, right? So we've had a couple of different podcasts come out in the last 7 days or so. We've had 3 Twitter spaces. Shout out to Publius for being absolute champs in terms of giving their time and dedication to all of this. And we're just trying to help get Publius on as many speaking opportunities as possible, because it does help new members coming in, and maybe it even has in the last week or so. So that's been nice. Well, we're obviously helping with the poker tournament marketing. That's it's really a fun project where everybody's contributing in different ways. So and shout out to Maud for really leading the marketing on the poker front, and obviously J-Dubs and Dumpling and the operations team for putting it together. One thing we've been focused on is really integrating Twitter. So we've installed analytics on the site. Twitter is simply our biggest source of traffic. It's where we get a ton of people from, by far. The second is SEO, by the way. So lots of people searching for us as well. But in any case, so what we've been doing is really trying to take the load off managing the Beanstalk Farms Twitter account from Publius. Yep, sorry. Yeah, so just trying to take that load off of Publius and really integrate Twitter into our communication strategy. We're not very strong yet at really coordinating different events that are happening and promoting them in synchronicity with everybody else. So what we're trying to do is just have, and this is something we're still building, but we hope to in the next week or two release kind of like a version of a promotional calendar where folks, let's say if we have a update that has been made to the website, it goes into a queue of things that will be promoted. And that way, everybody can just go and talk about one thing at one moment. And I think that'll help just get bigger and bigger sort of eyes on Twitter. Anyway, don't want to ramble too much, but we also have a Creator DAO partnership, which has been kicked off. So shout out to Maud for really working with them to get a lot of different content out. And one of the tweets we made today with the new curve pool graphic was actually put together by Creator DAO. The Twitter space that happened today was also Creator DAO. So shout out to Maud for obviously like doing just a great job there on that part. J-Dubs has already talked about Luna, but I'll talk about Serotonin a little bit. We've signed the contract. We've had a pre-kickoff with them, with Publius and Maud and J-Dubs. And we have our actual kickoff tomorrow. We have a team of 3 people from their side at this moment that's going to start off. And really the next week to 2 weeks is really going to be a lot of strategy setting, goal setting. And we want to really sort of fix that and have a clear idea of what our goals are, where we're going, before we actually start to approach different media. So anyway, that's, and J-Dubs, just shout out to J-Dubs for killing it at, getting us a couple of PR agencies that work really hard for getting us these partnerships. So yeah, that's, I know that was probably a ton. I probably went on for too long, but please let me know if there's any questions. And we have a marketing meeting tomorrow. So if anybody's more interested in sort of talking about in detail what these things are, happy to have you.
Great. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank God. Sorry about that. Well, thanks for the update, TB, and thanks for just jumping right in there. I wanted to bring up. Do we have Canadian Bennett here? Yeah, Canadian Bennett. Are you near Mike? Can you come up for a sec? And I know that you had a March Madness idea.
Give him 5 minutes. He's away from Mike.
Oh, he is? Okay. Well, there's been a few. I've gotten independently now. I've gotten from a few different people this March Madness idea, probably because the poker tournament, but of doing some sort of bracket. So I just wanted to throw that out there, see if anyone was interested in that. I know that we have some sports fans, and yeah, see if that was how that might be structured. I just thought we could brainstorm for a minute or two about that, if there's interest.
100 million pods.
That's a lot of pods.
That's a lot of pods, man.
We're going to clear the debt out of March Madness bracket.
I mean,
well, I think that it can probably be done pretty easily as far as the of course, I'm not the one who's going to have to do it. Siler Chad, do you think that could be, where you'd make a little module and you could type in the different, who you think's going to win here, 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 here? Does that seem pretty feasible, or is that difficult?
I'll have to marinate.
I think we would do it in a way that emulates the PokerStars thing, right? Where you just register like your ESPN username for a buy-in or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty good infrastructure that Silo Chat's already put in place that maybe we could just potentially adapt without having too much work. I mean, the Google form itself, I think, works pretty well. And also, real quick thing, Silo Chat, I mentioned this in the Discord and stuff, but awesome. And thank you so much for pushing as much as you did to get a ton of the stuff done with the poker tournament. Sorry, back to basketball.
Yeah, for sure.
He deserves a big shout out there. Really living up to your name, Silo Chad, on the poker tournament.
Appreciate it, guys. Yeah, on the bracket, I can take a look. I'm guessing as we start to get some more attention and then also do potentially bigger prize pools for these types of things, we'll want to build a little bit more sophisticated infra than the Google form for a variety of reasons. We can talk more about this offline, but I'm down to check on that. What's sort of the timeline? Like when new brackets usually get submitted? I don't know the date this year.
I'll let someone else speak to that.
I'm checking the date now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, on my end, down to have that discussion. So maybe
March Madness starts on March 13th, so 10 days.
Cool. Well, my specialty is building under pressure, so we'll see how this goes.
I mean, I know we could definitely you can make it more sophisticated, Silo, but between like the buy-in through right now through the actual money and then the Google form, if through like just a hacky kind of job, hopefully it wouldn't be too much work because those Google forms, I mean, they're just so easy to work with, and we could probably set it up so that you can just enter your bracket inputs. Again, if you're okay with that, I think we hopefully have a process in place that you could just enter your brackets that way through a couple Google forms. And might be able to follow the same kind of flow that we have. Like maybe there's a separate Discord or a new thread for it on our Discord, etc.
Yeah, let's discuss the specifics. The one question I'd throw out for people who have tested out the poker flow, what did you think? Like, did it make sense? Did the page make sense? Did the form make sense? Like, how's the reception there? I don't know how many of us have tried it yet.
So I will say that my mom did it, and she was successful, and she's all set up.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
I said, hey, tell me how it is. Tell me how it goes. Let me know if there's any problems. I sent her the little thing that we made that had the steps in the graphic form, and it was good. So she did it.
Sweet. I hope you know, Dumpling, that now every time I push her to the site, I'm singularly thinking about, would Dumpling's mom understand this feature? And if the answer is no, I don't push it. So glad it worked.
You think she's going to understand the new Silo page?
Definitely Quigley.
Wonderful. All right. Then I guess it'll be ready to be pushed soon. Fair enough.
Hey guys, I'm near Mike now. Just wanted to say, I don't know, I just came up with this idea about the March Madness today. Thinking we could do something similar to the poker tournament. I believe, just one correction to Mr. Manifold, I believe the brackets come out on the 13th. I think games don't start till the 16th. So I think you have 3 days there to build a bracket. But yeah, happy to
amazing.
discuss.
Yeah, that's good.
Also, quick shout out. We're up to 29 registrations on the poker tournament, and I think that we'll certainly be north of 50. But I want to get to 10 tables. That's my goal. So just throwing it out there. 10 tables. We're doing our best.
It's actually probably worth digging into a little bit more. So the tournament's on Saturday, right? So what should we be doing over the next 4 days? What do you guys need from the community?
I mean, I think the big so it's just tough because I'm hoping that most people have kind of promoted via their Twitter, and so I think promotion is the best way we're doing it. So we're trying to, within our own within DAO members or Beanstalk Farm members or Beansprout members that are able to kind of voice it and push it through their Twitter. That's really helpful. That's one channel. We've obviously pushed it in our Discord, and I think we can put in one or two more comments in the general chat. But then outside of Discord itself and Twitter, we're working on a different partnership with Incum, which is thanks to Bean Intern for connecting those dots. But they're going to be doing something where they're going to promote it on their side. And then again, we Creator was great because they created some infographics for us, but at the end of the day, we still need kind of a bigger microphone. I don't know if this merits a last minute Medium article. If I'm being honest, I don't want to dilute the brand with something like that or anything. But I think just however else we can continue to promote. And TB, I don't know if you know any other thoughts off the top of your head, but we can share with our community. And then I think a bunch of us are popping into other Discords. Like I know Dumplings jumped in, and I think he chatted to Tally, and I was chatting with Sync about some other areas that we could jump in. But it's kind of like we're trying to just get more word of mouth out there anywhere that we can, including with friends and family. I think with the friends and family, it's probably one of the most value-added pieces because we can hear from them the difficulties of going through the full process, especially if they're not on board. That there's a lot of learnings. But if you don't want to kind of climb that hill, I'd say definitely popping into Discords that you're part of, sharing again, maybe just not outside of Twitter, but people that that are in the space. TB, I don't know if there's anything else that you think that we can continue to do push it or mod.
We have a poker boost post scheduled on Twitter, so that's going out soon.
Okay, great. Is that sorry, Maud, was that through Beansprout or through Beanstalk Farms?
Beanstalk Farms.
Sorry, I was having some audio. Sorry, go for it.
No, just as long as because I know we've been trying to be pretty particular about this, just making sure that we're denoting it as a Beansprout initiative, even if it's going out from Beanstalk Farms.
Yes, we will. Just trying to stay as clean as possible and just be very plain about it. Yeah, I mean, to get the tournament promoted, I feel like one thing we should do is sign up ourselves. Obviously, that's not the purpose, but the other thing we can do is we have a video with Phil Hellmuth, who's a very popular poker legend in some ways. So if you know any poker friends or people who are interested in poker, send them that video because they'll definitely know who that is. And yeah, we've been posting different Discords, posted on Reddit as well. But yeah, so I think it's more of a guerrilla marketing, like ground up effort to get more people to sign up, friends and family. But yeah.
Actually, I completely even forgot on that front. So yeah, there's the cameo piece, which was awesome that Farmer Dan churned out, and we'll drop that in the Barnyard chat. So that's something else you guys can share. Again, we've just got a ton of copies, or a ton of content that you guys can share. Maybe we can just dump all of that in the Barnyard chat, so you guys can pick and choose as you want to share what you want to share. And then also with James Bean, he's kind of been going through a list of potential Twitter followers. So we chatted with I chatted with Quasi-Matt, kind of put together like a loose couple of comments that we can share to random people on Twitter. Again, just kind of shooting them DMs, being like, hey, if you want to join and you can get like a couple followers, we'll pay for your buy-in. Not trying to sound chilly, just trying to use it as a way to educate about Beanstalk and at the same time getting them involved with the community. So that's another route that we're working on. And then in the Discord itself, Canadian and James Bean have been trying to moderate as well to encourage things. So for what it's worth, I mean, there are a bunch of fronts that we're trying to work this on, Silo Chad. So we'll jump. I think we can drop all of that content in here to help you guys as you're starting to disseminate.
Something I just did is I just renamed Guess the Beans temporarily at someone's suggestion to Beans on the Table. So that we can put some things in that channel. I think we can repurpose that for now. That's in the town square section with the dice. I think we can repurpose that for now to Beans on the Table, and then I can always switch it back, or Rex, I'll leave that to your discretion.
I know this is early to look into now, but from our current signups, do we have an indicator or an indication on how many people we're unfamiliar with, or if everyone who signed up is actually is already a member?
I think James Bean or Canadian might be best to position that. Canadian or James, I know you started working through the list of signups to figure out what protocol they're from. I'm not sure if you're able to dig into that yet on the Discord. Are you seeing any insights?
We can't hear you yet, James Bean. I see you unmuted yourself.
If James Bean's having some issues, just on the Discord front, I've noticed majority is just Beanstalk. There's one Harvest Finance, I believe, but other than that, it's all Beanstalk.
That's helpful. Thanks. And I will be honest as well. Like I said, this is because we are rushing to push this out last minute. I think there's a ton of stuff we could have done structurally to help. To help promote it better. So again, learning, but we'll kind of do a post-mortem for sure of this to make sure that we're taking these learnings and applying them forward, especially if we're going to work on this March Madness piece.
Agreed. I think we take this. We always take everything as a learning opportunity. We see what we did right, and we continue with it. And what we didn't, we improve it for the next time.
The one thing I'd say is I think this will still be one of the biggest poker tournaments. Like DeFi poker tournaments of the ones that I was inspired by. Like I talked to the people, in Olympus and stuff. They were all quite small and usually just for fun, no money involved. So this is pretty ambitious that we, so far, there's things I'm happy with. I think that the one thing that maybe was a little bit short-sighted was not including just like a cash prize at and advertising that at the top, because a lot of people from outside aren't going to know what pods are and might just write that off. So I think that was probably I think doing a combination pods, we'll do the postmortem, but let's keep pushing it. I still think we can get a lot. And I think a lot of people might be waiting until the last minute to register. So I don't mean to take this whole meeting and to turn it into the poker meeting. So sorry about that. With that said, we'll move on, and now we're into just kind of open floor. So we have a little bit of time left. And Dees, I want to be sure to save time. Is there a way? I know that Beethoven and he's not here, but maybe he was trying to cook up a way to play a song. Was that?
Yeah, he sent me one. I could just drop it in Barnyard chat, and if somebody wanted to play it, but
I don't know how we play audio over Discord, but maybe you can just drop it in there, and that can be at the end. We could just maybe wait until the end, and you can drop it, and that can be our sign off.
For sure. Yeah, he told me very specifically he didn't want to skimp out on his bard duties, so he sent me a file, so I'll drop it in the chat later.
Cool. But yeah, we're open floor for a few minutes. We'll have a few minutes of Publius updates, and then we can all listen to Beethoven's new song.
Yeah, I have a question. We discussed this before, but I'm not sure what the answer was. When we have a snapshot agreed towards something, and then that thing got canceled, do we have to get another snapshot, to say that we're going to cancel this, or that's not necessary?
Can you give me a description? So if it's
so let's say, for example, that we have a budget to spend. We want to spend money, for example, to be on a podcast, and then that thing and it gets approved, and then that engagement gets canceled, and we're not going to proceed with it anymore. Then do we need to raise another snapshot and say that we're going to cancel that, or that's not necessary?
Yeah. So the money has been allocated to that course, to that thing, but it doesn't mean that we have to spend it towards that. But if we're going to spend it towards another thing, that has to be approved. So let's say that there's, if for example there was 500,000 in the budget, and you were allocating 10,000 towards the podcast, if we spent the 490,000 and we were down to our last 10,000, I think that last 10,000 would technically still be earmarked for that podcast. But we don't have to spend it to the podcast. We just have to then do a snapshot allocating that money, which has been earmarked towards the new thing.
Yeah, and it goes back to the budget. Yeah, and it goes back to the budget automatically. It's not like we have to raise another snapshot saying that we're going to cancel that for it to go back to the budget.
I don't think so, and I'll let Publius speak to that, but I don't think so. That seems overly cumbersome to have to do a cancel snapshot when we decide to not use the money that is allocated towards something.
Agreed. I don't see a value for it.
Is anyone speaking?
No. This is open time. So if you have anything you want to say.
Oh, okay.
But if not, I think I'll pass the floor to Publius for a couple of minutes, and then we can wrap up the meeting. Publius, if you're near a mic and you want to
What's up, y'all?
give any updates. Hey.
So the most substantive update is that there was recently a draft for BIP 13, which makes slight changes to the weather changes, was dropped in the Discord. There's been a pretty healthy Discord around it thus far, and I think we're inclined to propose it formally in the next day or so. There is an open question on the Bean 3 curve gauge proposal, which we'll hope to draft an answer for shortly, asking about the status of the audits and asking if we plan to wait to apply for the gauge until once the audits are released. That's a little tricky because, as we spoke about in the Tuesday class, there's a little bit of hiccups with Omniscia and getting them to kind of move quickly. And so, having an open discussion internally about the best way to respond to that. And then otherwise, we're really just focused on development of the next couple BIPs, which we expect to be generalized minting and generalized convert in a BIP, and then the generalized bean farm in a BIP, which is pretty cool. And then at some point generalizing the silo as well to accept yield-bearing assets like convex bean 3 curve. So those are the next couple technical upgrades we're working on, and that extends across the back-end team, which is starting to grow pretty healthily. And then the other thing we would highlight is that documentation is becoming more and more of a focus of ours. So to date, the white paper has really been the only source of live documentation, and the white paper also hasn't been updated just yet to reflect BIP 12, just a function of how busy we are and the fact that making the silo changes is kind of the first step in larger changes to the white paper. And so we're taking a little bit of a step back to make a couple of changes that will encompass a couple different BIPs all in one, which was something we had previously asked the community for some input on, and that was how they guided us, as opposed to kind of spending the extra marginal time to make sure that there was white paper for every BIP in a timely fashion. So while we may release like a 1.8.0 just that covers BIP 12, we're writing that part of the white paper as part of a larger update. And then Leo Fib and QuasiMat and ourselves have started to work on the Git book, which to date has been a little bit on the back burner just because of a shortage of resources. But as the copy department has grown, it's been a project that now we can revisit. So those are kind of the high level updates on our end, but there's lots of good stuff happening, and obviously Bean maintaining its peg even with all this ETH volatility is very exciting. So excited for all of the recent appearances we've been invited to and been making, and podcasts we've been recording, and hoping that leads to the continued growth of the community and the expansion of Beanstalk to a wider audience. But if anything, our only complaint is that there's not enough time in the day. So very exciting stuff going on, and just lots of work to be done.
Okay. Sorry, I just hopped on and off. It's a stupid issue here. So does that wrap up the meeting then?
Unless anyone else has anything else to shout.
Very good. Okay, so also I just wanted to shout out that didn't Beanstalk just turn 5,000?
Yes.
So
Very cool.
And I think Rex was saying maybe we should do something to celebrate every 5,000 or we can come up with something. Seasonality. 10,000 should be a big one. We should have a big party.
Time to play the
Okay,
song.
Oh yeah, so time to play the song. Thanks everyone. And if you want to play the poker tournament, we're going to do that in an hour. So just reach out to JWW and he can get you all set up. I'll be playing. So thanks guys.
Have a good
Coming
one.
for you, Dumpling. We're coming for you.